You've been doing everything you can to hold it all together. You've planned, you've saved, you've worked hard, but now the world feels unpredictable again. Prices rise, jobs shift, and suddenly the ground beneath your feet doesn't feel as solid as it once did. You try to stay calm, but that quiet voice of worry keeps returning. What if I can't rebuild this time? It's the fear of not being in control, the fear of not knowing what comes next. And in moments like this, what we crave most is certainty. But here's the truth: certainty doesn't come from the world around you. It comes from the systems, habits, and mindset you create within you. You are not powerless, you are not behind. You're standing at a crossroads, and this moment, right now, can be the start of your financial pivot. Take a deep breath. It's okay to feel uncertain. You don't have to convince yourself that everything is under control all the time. Life is unpredictable, and financial change can feel overwhelming, and that's normal. The key isn't eliminating uncertainty, it's learning to navigate it with clarity and confidence. In this video, we'll guide you through a practical 3-step framework to regain control over your finances, even when the path ahead isn't perfectly clear. You'll discover how to stabilize your situation, make intentional decisions, and take action that builds momentum, all while honoring the reality that uncertainty is part of the journey. By the end, you'll feel empowered to face financial change with courage, strategy, and balance, turning fear into focused action. Feeling uncertain about your finances is one of the most common experiences in life and one of the most stressful. It's natural to crave certainty. When bills pile up, savings feel thin, or income is unstable, our brains trigger a heightened state of alert. Fear, doubt, and anxiety can feel overwhelming. But here's the first truth: feeling uncertain doesn't mean you're failing. It doesn't mean you're irresponsible. It means you're human. Even the most successful people have faced moments of financial doubt. And what separates those who move forward from those who stagnate is their approach to uncertainty. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman, in Thinking Fast and Slow, explains that humans have two primary decision-making systems: the analytical, rational mind and the intuitive, emotional mind. Financial uncertainty often triggers a clash between these systems. The rational mind wants data, predictions, and guarantees. The emotional mind feels fear, pressure, and risk. Both are valid and both need to be acknowledged. Ignoring one in favor of the other is what leads to paralysis. Mel Robbins, in her work on habit and action, reminds us action is the antidote to fear. But before action can happen, you first need to recognize and accept the fear itself. Trying to convince yourself that everything is under control only adds stress. Instead, acknowledging uncertainty allows you to respond strategically rather than reactively. Brené Brown talks about the power of vulnerability. Vulnerability is not winning or losing, it's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. Financial uncertainty is a form of vulnerability. Accepting it doesn't mean giving up, it means showing up, ready to make thoughtful, intentional choices even when you can't predict every outcome. Let's consider the neuroscience behind this. The amygdala, our brain's fear center, reacts strongly to uncertainty. It interprets unpredictability as a threat, but the prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning and rational thought, can moderate this fear if we consciously engage it. That's why taking small, intentional steps, even when you feel unsure, is so powerful. It trains the brain to tolerate uncertainty while creating actionable progress. Tony Robbins often emphasizes the psychology of certainty and control. He says that humans are wired to seek certainty, but life rarely provides it in full. The trick isn't eliminating uncertainty. It's building a framework for decision making that allows us to act confidently despite it. This is especially important when finances are involved because hesitation can cost both money and opportunities. Feeling stuck financially often comes from imagining the worst-case scenario and overestimating the likelihood of disaster. Behavioral economists Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman call this loss aversion, We weigh potential losses far more heavily than potential gains. It's why many people delay decisions, overanalyze investments, or avoid addressing debt, because the fear of making the wrong move feels bigger than the potential benefit of taking action. But here's the insight that changes everything. Long-term inaction has a hidden cost. Every day spent avoiding financial decisions erodes self-trust, diminishes confidence, and narrows your future options. Avoiding action does not protect you, it delays your comeback. The key is to find balance. Acknowledge uncertainty, but don't let it immobilize you. Simon Sinek teaches the importance of starting with why. In financial change, your why is the guiding principle that informs every decision. It could be security for your family, freedom to pursue your passions, or simply reducing stress and anxiety. When decisions are anchored in purpose rather than fear, even small steps carry meaning and momentum. Financial uncertainty also presents an opportunity to clarify your values. Morgan Housel, author of The Psychology of Money, emphasizes that financial success is behavior based, not purely knowledge based. Knowing how to earn, invest, or save is important, but the behaviors you practice, consistency, patience, and thoughtful action, determine your results. Uncertainty tests these behaviors. It's a chance to strengthen them. One practical approach is to start by naming what's uncertain. Write down your fears, lost income, unexpected expenses, or lack of savings. Naming them externalizes them. They become data to work with, not invisible monsters controlling your emotions. Susan David, author of Emotional Agility, calls this emotional acknowledgement. When we observe our emotions without judgment, we gain perspective and can respond with intentional action rather than anxiety-driven reaction. Another essential aspect is small, actionable movement. Mel Robbins' 5-second rule applies perfectly here. Take one small financial action immediately, whether it's reviewing your budget, contacting a financial advisor, or making a minor payment toward debt. Action creates momentum, momentum builds confidence, and confidence creates clarity even when uncertainty remains. Accepting uncertainty doesn't mean complacency. Tony Robbins reminds us it's in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. Every small, intentional financial choice, even under ambiguity, shapes your long-term stability. Waiting for perfect conditions will only delay your progress. Action, guided by purpose and awareness, is what creates both security and freedom. Finally, remember that uncertainty is a natural part of life, especially in financial transitions. You don't need to eliminate it, you need to learn to move through it with balance. Embrace the discomfort as a teacher, not a barrier. Each small step strengthens your capacity to handle bigger decisions, and over time, your confidence compounds. Feeling uncertain is normal. Feeling capable is a choice. The moment you accept uncertainty, acknowledge your fear, and take even a small step forward, you begin to pivot financially and regain both control and clarity. Now that we've explored the emotional and psychological side of financial uncertainty, it's time to focus on action. Uncertainty is unavoidable, but inaction is optional. The good news is that even small, deliberate steps can transform fear into clarity and momentum. The framework we'll use has 3 steps: stabilize, simplify, strategize. Each step is designed to build control, confidence, and resilience while honoring that uncertainty is part of the process. The first step is to ground yourself in awareness. Begin by taking a clear, honest look at your current financial situation. What is your income? What are your fixed expenses? What debts or obligations exist? This isn't about judgment, it's about clarity. Knowledge is power. Tony Robbins often emphasizes focus. Where focus goes, energy flows. By stabilizing your finances, you focus energy where it can actually make a difference instead of being scattered by worry. Practical stabilizing actions include creating a realistic budget, reviewing bills, and listing all sources of income and expenses. Even one small stabilization step, like setting up automatic payments or tracking daily expenses, sends a signal to your brain: I am capable of handling this. This small act reduces stress and builds confidence even amidst uncertainty. Remember, stabilization is as much psychological as practical. A clear picture of your situation combats the chaos of anxiety and uncertainty, giving your mind the foundation it needs to make rational, informed decisions. Once your situation is stabilized, the next step is simplification. Complexity breeds overwhelm, and overwhelm fuels inaction. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, reminds us small, consistent actions compound into meaningful results. The same principle applies to finances. Begin by identifying and eliminating non essential spending. Automate savings, prioritize debts, and reduce unnecessary subscriptions. Focus on high impact actions, those that meaningfully improve your financial stability, instead of trying to control every minor detail. Simplification also applies to decision making. When faced with multiple options, narrow choices to what aligns with your values and goals. Simon Sinek emphasizes starting with why. Every financial choice should serve a purpose, whether that's security, freedom, or building a foundation for the future. When your decisions align with your why, uncertainty becomes easier to navigate because every step has meaning. Remember, simplification doesn't mean avoidance. It means reducing mental clutter so that your brain can focus on the moves that matter most. By clearing away noise and distraction, you create space for clarity, confidence, and action. The final step is strategic action. With stabilization and simplification in place, you can now move forward intentionally. This is where momentum begins. Start small. Identify micro actions that make progress toward your goals. This could include updating your resume, researching additional income streams, investing a small amount, or learning a new skill. Mel Robbins says, confidence isn't a feeling, it's an action. By taking even modest steps, you train your brain to trust itself, build competence, and create momentum. Annie Duke, author of Thinking in Bets, reminds us that every decision is a bet under uncertainty. Rarely do we have perfect information. The trick is to make calculated choices, learn from outcomes, and adjust. Strategic action allows you to navigate uncertainty without waiting for perfect clarity. Every move informs the next. Strategizing also means seeking support where needed. Financial advisors, mentors, or accountability partners can provide guidance, insight, and reassurance. Collaboration doesn't eliminate uncertainty, but it reduces the risk of inaction and empowers you to make confident moves. Let's summarize. Stabilize. Get clear on your current situation, reduce chaos, and rebuild confidence. Simplify, reduce complexity, automate essentials, and focus on what truly matters. Strategize. Take small, purposeful actions, experiment, learn, and iterate. By following these steps, uncertainty becomes manageable instead of paralyzing. Fear transforms into focus, hesitation becomes action, and your financial pivot becomes a series of deliberate, confident moves. Financial pivots are not just about numbers, they're about mindset. Brené Brown teaches that courage and vulnerability are inseparable. Facing uncertainty requires both. Naming fears, acknowledging emotions, and acting anyway builds resilience that compounds over time. Tony Robbins emphasizes that life is shaped in moments of decision. Each micro step you take is a vote of confidence in yourself. Momentum builds not from perfect planning, but from intentional action. The more consistently you practice stabilization, simplification, and strategic movement, the more clarity and control you'll gain, even in uncertain conditions. Uncertainty is not the enemy, it's a natural part of financial change and a signal that growth is possible. By stabilizing, simplifying, and strategizing, you can navigate uncertainty with strength, focus, and balance. Every step, no matter how small, moves you forward. Every action strengthens your confidence, builds trust in your decision making, and reduces the hidden cost of inaction. Even when the future is unclear, your ability to pivot financially grows with each deliberate move you take. Take a moment to breathe and acknowledge where you are. Feeling uncertain about your finances is normal. It doesn't mean you failed, it means you're standing at a crossroads, ready for change. Every small step you take, tracking your expenses, simplifying spending, taking intentional action, builds momentum. Momentum transforms fear into clarity, hesitation into confidence, and uncertainty into direction. Remember what Tony Robbins says: it's in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. Your financial pivot begins with one deliberate choice today, even if it feels small. Accept uncertainty, but don't let it immobilize you. Take a micro step towards stability, focus on what you can control, and trust yourself to adjust as you go. Every action compounds into confidence, progress, and freedom. If this video gave you clarity, comment below with the first step you'll take today. Subscribe to Time to Pivot for more strategies to regain control, build confidence, and navigate financial change with courage and balance. Remember, you don't need to see the whole path, you just need to begin. It's your time to pivot.